Alright, we're going to look at polynomials and doing some operations with those. And so first of all, polynomial means that it has many terms. It has many monomials. Mono meaning one term. So here is an example. How many terms does it have? Terms or monomials are separated by plus signs. So there's 1, 2, 3. So this has 3 terms, and we call this a trinomial because tri means 3. If we had 2 terms like this would be a bi, because bi means 2 nomial. Okay? A monomial is an expression that is a number, a variable, or a product, which means a multiplication of a number and one or more variables. It cannot contain variables in the denominator. So, for example, 1 over x is not a polynomial. It also, variables with exponents that are negative. So if we had something like x to the negative 3rd power, that is not a monomial. And variables underneath a radical. So if we had something like the square root of 2x to the 4th, then that would also not be considered as such. Okay. Now we have some terms here. Constants are the numbers. So let me give you a polynomial like 4x squared plus 3x plus 2, for example. A constant means there's no variable associated with that monomial. So the constant in this case would be a 2. A coefficient is the number in front of a variable. So for example, in our example up here, the coefficient would be a 4. The coefficient of x is 3. Okay. The power is just nothing more than an exponent. So here, the exponent on this x, I could get it to write. Okay. So up here in the red, the exponent for x, for 4x is squared. For this x here, it's a 1. And the degree of a polynomial is, if it only has one variable, then it's the highest exponent. So this polynomial would have a degree of 2. Alright, when in doubt, write it out. So we're going to kind of review some exponent rules. So x cubed, if you notice, I wrote 3x's being multiplied together. X squared is 2x's being multiplied together. How many x's do we have? Well, we have 5 being multiplied together, so that's x to the 5th. And the rule for multiplying is if you look at the exponents, when we multiply, essentially what we're doing is we're adding our exponents. Alright, let's look at the next one. If we're going to multiply these together, so 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. X cubed times x squared is, we just did it up there, x to the 5th. And now if we look at the y's, y squared times y to the 4th would be y to the 6th. So we multiplied a monomial by a monomial. For dividing, x to the 5th divided by x squared again, and we could write this out. Oh, I skipped. Just a minute. Alright, let's look at dividing now. if we could write this out, this would be 5x's on the top being multiplied together, 3, 4, 5, divided by x squared, so x times x, the rule for dividing. So anything divided by itself, so like 2 over 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, right? And 5 divided by 5 is 1. So x divided by x is 1. X divided by x is 1, and so now we're left with x cubed. Now look at the exponent. Can we come up with a rule? X to the 5th divided by x squared gave me x cubed. So really all we're doing is subtracting our exponents. Let's look at the next example. 4 divided by 2. Let's write it out. Let's go ahead and write it out. 1, 2, 3, and then there's 6 y's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the top. And 8 y's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Anything over itself make 1. So that makes 1, that makes 1, that makes 1, that makes 1. And whatever's left over is our answer. So we have 2x's on the top, and we have 2 y's on the bottom. Raising a power to a power. X cubed raised to the 4th power means that we would write x cubed 4 times. And we already said x cubed was 3 x's being multiplied together. So how many x's do we have altogether if we multiply these up? X to the 12. So raising a power to a power, we would multiply exponents. Okay. Negative exponents. So go ahead and pause the video and use your calculator and type in 2 to the negative 2nd power to the negative 1st power all the way down that line and see if you can come up with a pattern. So pause and then come back. Alright, so this is what you came up with. So look for the pattern that hopefully that you see. If you notice 2 squared was 4 and 2 to the negative 2nd was 1/4, so they're reciprocals of each other. When you have a negative, it means that you're going to flip that fraction over. So this is 2 over 1, right? So if you flip it over, it really becomes 1 over 2 squared, and 2 squared, of course, is 4. Here, 2 over 1 raised to the negative 1st power is really 1 over 2 to the 1st power, or 1/2. So just kind of keep that in mind for negative exponents means that you flip the fraction. Okay, most of the time it's like you hit the bottom. So x to the negative 2nd would be 1 over x squared. Now look here, in the next example, the negative 6, the exponent, is already in the bottom of the fraction. So again, it does get flipped upside down, so we have 3x to the 6. Notice I didn't move the 3, okay? It just moves positions up or down.